Well, here's my current situation. I was locked out of my trailer the other night and then realized I had spare keys in my truck, but I was locked out of there too. A policeman came and had to, well, they're not supposed to break the windows, but after a few tears and telling them I had a blind dog in the trailer and I had medication in there, I had to give him permission to bust my window. It's a long story. I'll show you this side. It's actually an 8-hour story after calling Progressive on my trailer, getting the runaround from that tow truck driver, to calling Geico. There was locksmiths that were, one was babysitting, and he told me the other two locksmiths in the area close at 5. A tow truck was dispatched from Geico, my truck insurance, once I realized my keys were in there too. I waited 2 hours and called them, and she said, "Oh, we don't go up that mountain at night, and neither do any other tow truck companies around the area." So I was back to Progressive on my trailer. He wanted to drill a hole out on the top lock, but then just refused to answer my phone calls when I would call him back. So finally Geico said, "Do whatever you can to get in." I had talked to the police a couple times, and I knew they don't do lockouts, and they, told me the same thing. And finally, after calling, being on the phone with Geico and Progressive, I gave up with Progressive. I was done. Geico said, like I said, do whatever you can to get in and they'll cover it. So I called the police back and I spoke to the chief and told him, I'm in the woods. I'm alone in the woods, and luckily my neighbor was home and I was able to sit in her trailer. But what if she wasn't? And that was my biggest fear. It's why I don't like to go way back by myself. I like to be where there are people, and luckily I was camping with someone. And, she let me stay in her trailer with her because we're camping together. And the cop finally came up and said they don't break windows. This is something they just don't do. They don't do lockouts, so I knew that too. And I said, they had a hotel room for me down in Los Alamos. I said, but tomorrow morning when I wake up, it's still going to be in the same boat. No one's going to be able to come up here until, I'm on the schedule. And I have a blind dog in the trailer who's a senior, and another senior dog and a cat. And a few tears, and then I said I have medication in there that I need to take. So he says, well, I think that's what did it. Well, if you give me verbal permission, I said, I'll give you written permission because I'll break your window. And I had already tried to break the window and hurt my shoulder that I just had surgery on. Now it's locking up on me. I was desperate at midnight. I was just so desperate to get in my truck and to get my dogs out. So he busted the window. He tried with the hammer too and didn't work. But he got the window broken with his little bully stick. And I'm telling you, that glass went everywhere. My back door is broken, so I had to go inside the back of the truck, take the panel off, and open the back door because the handle on the outside is broken. But there was even glass way back there. So I got all that cleaned up. And Geico said Safe-Light was coming out in 8 days. Well, they dispatched someone. I gave him direct directions. And he still got lost and said that he went by and they don't go into the middle of the forest. This kid gave me an attitude and I complained about him. So they scheduled me again for the next day. So 9 days later, I finally was able to get a new window. And now there's glass still stuck up in the gasket that crunches and a bunch of glass in the door. But new window in the door. So yay for Safe-Light for helping me out. And there, my friend and I, we took a walk into the forest the other day, and we came across this, tree branch house. I told her not to walk through it. It's probably, take us into another dimension, or it's a portal of some sort. But someone took a lot of time making this, and it was pretty cool. My kids, when they were little, would have loved this. Then I found a deer spine with a pelvis attached on our walk. I thought that was really cool. I'm sort of a skull collector. And we had a rainstorm, and it was nighttime, almost night, and I looked out the door after it stopped raining, and this is what I saw. It was absolutely beautiful to me. I'm from the East Coast, and we have fog all the time out there. It was just so cool. I mean, it could have been cloud for all I know. The next day, I did actually watch clouds blow through the forest because we were that high up. I think 7,000 feet. There was my poor truck before the window. Just a beautiful creepiness to the fog, especially when you're in a forest. And my friend didn't get to see it. I asked her. She says, no, I didn't even look out the window. She says, isn't this cool? The coyotes have been chewing on it, so a lot of the edges of the ribs were gone. But it had the pelvis attached, and I thought that was pretty awesome. I mean, the deer skull would have been better, but... And then we found some bear scat, too, on the road. But it was old bear scat, so I wasn't too concerned. Here's the bear scat. Elliot was all over it. There's a grove of some aspen trees. It'll probably be beautiful in another month. And this was a creepy little tunnel that went under the road. Like, who lives down there? The bear? But thanks, guys. I appreciate all of you that subscribe. We'll see you.